Have you ever had a mountaintop moment? You know, those moments where life feels unreal in the best kind of way. Maybe it's hitting a game-winning shot or getting into your dream school. Maybe it's laughing uncontrollably with friends or standing on a stage doing something you never thought you could do. Time slows down, and for a second, everything feels perfect. I think we live for those kind of moments. We remember them for a really long time. They're what some people call mountaintop moments. They're experiences that are so good, they feel like you're on top of the world. You've probably had a few of your own. But here's something we don't talk about enough. What happens after those moments end? What about the ordinary moments in between those moments? It's not just in life we experience mountaintop moments. We experience them in our faith too. Think of a powerful worship night, or a time that you went to camp that changed your life, or a moment where you knew God was real. In those times, we feel close to God. Everything seems clear. We might even say, God, I wish this moment could last forever. But it doesn't. Eventually, you come down from the mountain and return to regular life. School, stress, responsibilities, and maybe even some doubt. It's hard to keep that same energy when you're sitting in class or trying to finish your homework at midnight. Some of us wonder if we've ever had a mountaintop experience with God at all. Maybe you're still waiting for one. Maybe you've been told that faith is all about emotional highs. But what if you've never felt that? I guess that leaves us with a bigger question, right? Can we still see God in the ordinary, everyday parts of our lives? I think the answer is yes. God shows up in the ordinary. Believe it or not, the answer is yes. In fact, some of the best ways to see God in these simple, quiet moments of life is to stop, slow down, and listen for him. Let me tell you about a guy named Elijah. He was a prophet in the Bible, someone that God used to speak to others. Elijah had some intense mountaintop moments. One time he called down fire from heaven in front of a crowd of people. Pretty dramatic, right? But then not long after, he was exhausted, discouraged, and hiding in a cave. That's when God told him to go stand on a mountain because God was about to pass by. And here's what happened. As Elijah stood there, the Lord passed by, and a mighty windstorm hit the mountain. It was such a terrible blast that the rocks were torn loose, but the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, there was a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. So no God in the wind, or the earthquake, or the fire. All of those seem pretty dramatic and loud, emotional moments. Then something unexpected happened. And after the fire, there was a sound of a gentle whisper. When Elijah heard it, he wrapped his face in his cloak and went out and stood at the entrance of the cave. God was in the whisper. Sometimes we expect God to only be in big emotional experiences. But what if he's also showing up in the ordinary stuff? Like a conversation with a friend, a sunset that makes you stop and look, or a moment of peace when everything around you is chaotic. I feel a big question for us right now is, how do we start noticing God? Seeing God isn't about chasing intense experiences. It's about changing our perspective. Kind of like those optical illusions, where once you see the hidden image, you can't unsee it. God is at work all the time. We just have to start looking. And here's some simple ways that I think we can do that. First, look up. Pay attention to what's around you. Nature, beauty, people. Second, look around you. Notice how others are showing kindness, forgiveness, and love. And then look in. What's going on in your own heart? Where do you need peace, strength, or purpose? When we shift how we look at life, we start to notice God showing up in places we didn't expect. So here's the bottom line of what I want you to remember today. You can see God. not just on a mountaintop or at camp, but in your everyday, messy, ordinary life. He's not waiting for you to climb a mountain. He's already whispering right where you are. All you have to do is slow down and listen. Have a beautiful week, everybody.